a power pick, but that means that you're always going to put Canna on the back burner because you're not going to give him the counter pick. And KC chose first pick again, so damn it.
Do you want to explain why you want?
Because I want to see
top lane
Canna,
red R5.
Yes, I want to see R5 Canna dueling it out, really just fist fighting with Nako. Take it out of the game too if you want to, just make it really hype and energetic here. But now what we're probably going to see is Canna on Sion, Rumble, or Cassandra.
I mean, they banned Gwen as well. So
you say take it out of the game, you want a literal fist fight?
Hey, if that's what the top laners need to duke it out, give them the
Rob,
tools.
you can continue now. I just wanted to make sure how we can all understand how psychotic Jack is being right now. Although I am a little inclined to agree.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Gwen ban says to me that they are going to try and look for an early Sion pick here. And also the Nami takeaway means that there's going to be lower priority on the Corki. But is Deer still there? There's still a lot of options here.
I'm going to be the skeptic here. I feel like KC took the wrong lessons out of the G2. I mean, looks like it might be the buy first pick.
For Yike.
It's
Why'd you laugh?
a pick that we've often memed in accordance with Yike when he was on the great G2 roster that won everything in Europe. I think Vi was the one champion that they still struggled to find too much success on. But it's often been a pick that Yike claims it's not his fault, but rather his team.
The teammates have claimed that as well in his defense, and he is 1-0 on the pick so far this season, and it's not going to get locked in, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's going to be the Yunara first pick, answered immediately by the Ezreal, and we're continuing with the sack covers that Vitality were doing yesterday. I still don't get the reference.
Zac and Lux, yeah.
Still though, I think Taliyah, Vi, if you're comfortable playing it, which we've seen from KC this split they are, I think it's perfectly fine here. Good setup, good lockdown for the Ryze, and you're able to match the roams, and it sets you up for a very strong, front to back if you want to.
Yeah, a lot of power in those two picks, and it looks like it's still going to be the Yike Vi. It's going to be paired up with the Taliyah. I mean, it's a classic combination. Vi with that point-and-click CC sets up that Taliyah shuffle beautifully and allows for a lot of playmaking later on in the game.
There's been very little focus on junglers though. Huge amount still open, so I think here you could probably go for some sort of support if you want to try and secure a strong bottom side of the map for Fleshy and Carzzy. But you can also just match jungle if you want to, but there is a window here we can try and make it a bit more interesting.
I like the Mundo flex for Vitality here. They do have that last pick, so they can flex that until the last second. And now they can look to target out supports to blind pick Fleshy, his support pick of choice.
One of the options going to be entering second ban phase now. Of course, the flex really the big thing that's going for Vitality as we enter this second phase is they're really taking their time to decide what they want to limit. Bot lane seems like the natural focus, but also potential to set up top lane here.
Yeah, I think it's the supports that I'd be eyeing up, like things like the Lulu and that for pairing with this Yunara, trying to make that a little bit less potent, and especially because you've already got decent engage, and Lulu can also kind of substitute a pseudo engage for the buy as well, but you get a second knock-up. We'll have to see if that is going to be the game plan for Vitality right now. Actually looks like, at least on Vitality's side, they just want to continue to ban away the top side.
Yeah, try to set up this Mundo flex for the best possible matchup so they can see till the end where they want to put it. And with that Rumble ban, it feels like they really want to put Canna on a tank, and then they can just put the Dr. Mundo into it or counterpick with something like the Gnar. And it's really the top matchup that I think is the linchpin of this matchup today, because that was the one lane that really went out of control in Vitality's series yesterday.
Definitely was. And for KC, it did also go out of control, just in a worse way up against Broken Blade on the Gwen. And Canna, we know, there's a reason he carries so much respect. There's a reason he's regarded so highly. He can be a demon on the top side, but we saw this in winter playoffs last year from KC. We had interviews with them after one of the series where they fell down. They said, I don't know why we're putting this guy on a tank. They swapped to carries. They went to first stand. But again, you said maybe they didn't take the same lessons that we did from that failure against G2 to knock them down into this bracket. Now with the Nautilus banned away, though, at least some of the more reliable engage options being taken out of the pool, Vitality limiting that, and KC maybe one more support ban. We'll have to find out.
I'm curious if Vitality want to lock in a range support on 4, or if they just want to go this kind of bog standard melee support. The thing is, you're playing with an Ezreal, so I would like something like the Neeko or the Karma just to bully lane, and especially since you banned out the Nautilus, it's kind of the best, easiest to play engage support into range champions. We saw it last game with Noah and Jun. When you have that Nautilus, you can always reach the range supports.
Especially with the Bard being banned, it kind of opens up for the Neeko. Very little answers into it. And I think you still want something that can be at least somewhat engaged. But the Ambessa taken, so at least keeping that flexibility open between Lyncas and Nako as to who's getting what pick.
It is a double flex, but it's also a bit of a double-edged sword because now KC know what two top laners they're picking into. It is going to open up Fleshy, however, for that last pick to give him whatever support he wants. And I'm really curious to see what Canna goes for here. I think if he goes something like the Scion, then Vitality can put, to be honest, either Ambessa or the Dr. Mundo top. But it looks like it's going to be the Rek'Sai top. So still a tank top, but one with a lot more firepower, a lot stronger laning phase. And I'm not sure, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm not going to tell you I know how the Rek'Sai Mundo matchup goes. So I would assume it's pretty good since Rek'Sai is quite strong in the early game, and that's kind of why they lock it as just an insurance policy here.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the funny thing is that even though you're keeping the flex open, both the champions kind of suffer from the same issue, which is they aren't particularly strong early in the 1v1. Rek'Sai very strong, it feels like, against both of them. And even if you get the knock-up from Rek'Sai, you can still just trade very effectively. Now there's the Neeko taken away from Busio, so looks like Karma going to be the answer here.
And I'm going to be honest, the double flex picks for Vitality don't feel like they've earned them a massive advantage here, because I look at the side of KC and it's so simple to see what their composition wants to do. And Vitality, I can see what they want to do, but they don't have any CC, so I don't know exactly how they plan on doing it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear to say that you can say it was a bit of a mistake to lock in that Ambessa early. You could have just went for the Karma or the Neeko. It's kind of a handshake, honestly. But now you're in a bit more of a vulnerable position. It looks like it's going to be Nako on that Ambessa into the Rek'Sai. You are going to outscale the Rek'Sai eventually, but it's going to be a tough early laning phase and a chance for Canna to prove that he's the best top laner in the league.
It's also for Vitality, like wanting to try and play a 1-3-1 style with Ambessa and Ryze. You kind of want something that can enable them in the early stages to start snowballing. Mundo, for me, doesn't really fit that. Whereas you look at the Vi on the opposite side, like she can be active in the early stages, try and get access to mid and top, and just look to shut down any sort of 1-3-1 pressure later on as the game goes.
Well, often we expect Vi to just kind of power farm in the early game. A Q flash, you have setup CC in every single lane on the side of KC, and while Mundo passive in a top lane matchup might have meant more of a difference for shutting those ganks down, in the jungle, the Ambessa is super vulnerable. Now playing on the top side instead of the jungle, the Ryze is vulnerable in the mid lane. It's just going to be really tough for Vitality to come out of this early game unscathed.
It is a really strong bot lane matchup though for Vitality. Ezreal, Karma, we've seen it many times before. And Carzzy and Fleshy, they've shown inconsistencies, but they've shown that they know how to play aggressive.
Mark Rasta. Pants coming out. Check boys on the bottom side of the map. Hoping to make the difference this one. I like that you highlight the bot lane 2v2. This is a 2v2 that's been around for, I want to say ever.
Yeah.
I think I interviewed Reckless in 2016 about the Ezreal Karma bot lane. Really long time ago. Yeah, like the scroll that's on Humanoid's back is actually about old bot lane pairings, and the first one on the list is Karma Ezreal, but it's as impressive as it ever has been.
Yeah, the most impressive part was what the Hyrule looked like.
League's just a different game back then. You gotta understand, we just didn't use normal languages. We just drew in symbols.
Well, Vitality bot lane are gonna get the push here. It's actually quite equal with Busio landing some Qs, but Vitality going on the aggressive.
Waited for Carzzy's passive to be stacked before they continue the parades. Nice chunk out on the Mantra Q there from Fleshy. So he'll straight it, which still feels pretty good for Vitality.
He's trying to play around this window where Busio is already interacting with his Q, so you can have that little bit of an advantage when it comes towards the ability usage. And they find a nice window there. But still, I mean, you have the barrier on Carzzy, Ghost for Caliste, so it means you can play a little bit more aggressive as Vitality if you can play off of these timelines.
I really like Busio going W level 2 here to block some of these Karma Qs and buy them a lot of HP in this lane. As you can see though, Caliste still getting poked out further. And Vitality bot lane looking to abuse this early laning phase.
And honestly, credit to Carzzy and Fleshy playing so aggressive, right? First back for Ezreal usually means buying a tier, which sets you behind in terms of effective combat stats. But before that first back, your passive gives you so much in terms of effective stats alongside lethal tempo, which is of course matched by Caliste. It's a really nice window to play for when you know Caliste is going to come back with more effective combat stats if you base on even gold.
Now you got pushed for Vitality in that bottom side of the map, and it looks like Mundo wants to make his way towards the crab. Yike, slower, as you'd expect, than the Mundo on the clear. I'm curious what he wants to try and do with it. Does he end up just face checking into Yike?
Wandering in. He means business. This is an insane chroma for this skin.
Throw a little suitcase at him. And then he's going to pick up the crab. Yike is going to go for the top crab. Probably it's just going to be crab for the junglers here with a bit more tempo gain from Lyncas as he gets to recall first. Unless, I mean, Yike has no smite. He could look to run all the way. No, he decides against it.
Not going to go for anything else. And again, quiet game, level 6, where we start to expect to see things get a little bit more explosive. Nako on the top side with access to that ulti will then have a bit more sustain, a bit more incentive to trade aggressively versus Canna. Obviously, in the early stages, Rek'Sai's just annoying. He just is so much sustain, so much. It's so hard to stick to him. You start a trade that's winning for you, he just, you know, tunnels on out.
To her, Dracos.
My bad, that's true.
But yeah, really the sustain is what's hurting Nako and making it difficult. You can see that Nako is getting some good trades, but it's hard to make that damage stick. Rek'Sai just goes back into her tunnel and heals that damage right back up.
I can't believe that this used to be more nerfed than it is now.
Yeah, it's...
Remember that this was like, was it 2023 or 2024?
Like better, you mean?
Well,
Like
yeah,
more buff,
in
no?
2024 it was like insanely
It was so broken.
broken.
Yeah. You remember those sack and Rek'Sai top every game?
I do remember that.
Oh, and the sustain was just... Oh,
No one was killing anyone.
Yeah.
And we complained about lane swaps, but I'm just saying it did save us from that a little bit.
That's true.
However, Nako,
You know, role quests were a really good way of removing lane swaps without making it such a weird...
we got there.
Yeah.
Just threatening people that they would be broke.
But let's be
and
real,
useless.
give it like 2 more years and then we'll figure out something.
That's true.
That's true. The
Just
balance
have the
that-
top laner have
and-
the ADC quest, and then ADC just gets XP.
Yeah.
There's a way to break it. It'll be found. Hopefully by the LEC.
Specifically,
LEC team
Finals
At
of
an international
Worlds, yeah.
event as Humanoid flashes forward. Easy set up here. Lyncas is going to hit him with a briefcase. The flick back doesn't do anything to the Mundo.
And that's the power of the Ryze. That's why Vitality valued it so highly. You have that point-and-click CC, sets up Lyncas, great for the gank. Even though kyeahoo uses the flash, he ends up going down and he's going to lose a whole mid-wave with it.
Trading flash for flash and dying is crushing. Lyncas pulling ahead in terms of overall gold, courtesy of that assist. Carzzy and Fleshy sustaining pressure in the bottom lane, as you'd expect for the Ezreal Karma, but not able to build a greater health advantage, just able to slowly chip away at the difference between CSs.
And nicely done. And I think that's kind of what you need to do is Vitality here. Is force plays on mid so you can get control, especially over this dragon area, because with push on boss, it makes things significantly easier for Lyncas to take that objective. But KC are low here.
Lyncas just wandering in, maybe hoping to help crash this wave. It's not a dive angle, most certainly, although Yike close to 6.
Wasn't spotted off of the
Click on
plant.
Humanoid connects. I don't really think they have kill pressure here, but Yike may be willing to play the long game.
Yeah, I don't see a world where Humanoid dies here without Yike being level 6. And
I mean,
Lyncas is doing the Drake, but maybe Yike...
If a ward spots
Steal?
this.
Oh.
Oh!
How did he keep doing that?
Can we get his vision when we see that replay? Because he saw nothing. Did he see him come
He must
over
have
the
seen
banana
Mundo
bush?
walk through the banana bush.
But so Mundo hit the Scryer's Bloom, which Yike realized he wasn't spotted on. So I think he just assumed, having not seen him gone back in towards his jungle, that he must have been on the objective.
Oh.
So nicely done.
All in. Canna interrupted on the tunnel out. Nako trying to stop him from getting to the next tunnel. Unfortunately, he cannot because Rek'Sai, hilarious champion. Luckily for him, though, Humanoid on the way here. Goes under, comes right back out with the Void Rush, and down he goes. Vitality finding the advantage on the top side.
Nice movement from Humanoid there, walking back towards the river, knowing that Rek'Sai jumps out behind you, so it doesn't let Canna get close enough to the turret where he can flash away. And also just a great roam in general. Humanoid using that early pressure to now help Nako.
If someone asks why is Ryze strong, this is why. This is a masterclass on how you play around Ryze. You use his CC to gank him in mid, set up for the kill, and that allows Ryze to roam around and get kills elsewhere and sets Nako up for success. And we watched the crazy Yike play here. I mean, we
didn't see the initial vision.
So he hit the Scryer's Bloom, which then basically gave the vision all across here, which is why I think Yike basically realized, and hang on, there's more than likely then Lyncas is trying to go for this because he will have just gone for the full clear. So really heads up play from Yike and good understanding of where they will
maybe
be.
try to steal Drake.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, he's doing Drake alone, but he has small smites.
Yeah, and Yike had the 900 smite, while Lyncas was still on the 600.
He did the math.
He
the
hit
math.
tab. It's a
You
different-
love to see a plan come.
they are different icons.
Don't.
No, he did the math.
Rob, don't. I
knew-
watched a lot of people burn all their cooldowns on a Nami support with the Seekers yesterday. Not everybody pushes tab. It is a skill. You do have to keep checking on those things.
I'm just saying it's not a math skill.
Okay, awareness. You know.
You could argue all of reality's maps.
Okay, Jack. All right, man.
Here, look, we can get into now it doesn't exist if you really want to go down that rabbit hole, all right?
Reality's subjective, you know? Are we seeing the same thing right now? I'm not sure.
I'm seeing Humanoid trade with Yahoo.
I mean, a trade's pretty generous because
Oh, he did a W.
Yahoo's hitting him a lot more, but he doesn't do any
See, that's,
damage.
that's the reality, huh? So one, you could say Humanoid is trading with Yahoo, or you could say Yahoo's trading with Humanoid.
But that's actually just your perception of what you see.
Yeah, that's
They
what
don't
I
know
mean.
the-
Which one is reality? Both are reality. Okay, we're
Reality
going
isn't there.
too far down.
Yeah.
Monka. Yes. Do you guys think that if the point is confusing enough, people will assume it's good analysis?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how most color casters work.
Lyncas is currently triangulating into the river here. Wants to extrapolate some grubs.
What does it mean? He must know what he's talking about. He used so many big words incorrectly. That's the true sign of genius. Lyncas is in a good spot. Yike gonna go for maybe another steal. Thinks better of it. Instead, perhaps a mid lane play. Nope. Debating.
What if he just steals this
Really
again?
loves theft.
Yeah.
Stealth. He's hiding in the bush.
Why is my man playing Splinter Cell? What happened here? Here we go.
He's going to steal it.
Steal it.
Oh,
Nope.
he didn't. Oh, he did get
He
it.
did. You got the one. He got the one. Voidgrub going
And
over.
he
They're
gets
going to
the
try to kill the
kill.
Mundo. Mundo's still healing up for a while. Lyncas is now running away. The Q coming in, and now Humanoid might be in trouble as Busio is on the chase. So they get a grub and they get a kill, but the gold still favors Vitality.
Still just nice plays here from Yike. Again, like, you're just utilizing the time that Vitality are investing to actually get a steal and then get more off the back of it. So, honestly, nice little win. Vitality's still up in gold, but small plays here and there.
I mean,
Working out.
Yike is looking like Solid Snake in this one. Just sneaking around, finding the stealth, the angles, being able to pick up that last grub. Oh, but Nako, this is what you
Oh.
love to see.
Nako doesn't want to overcommit while Canna has ulti and could potentially dodge away from his own ult. That does make things a bit tricky.
And the thing is, you picked this Rek'Sai to win lane. You picked it so that regardless of the Mundo or the Ambessa, you would have a good laning phase. But Nako, the GOAT of top lane right now, he doesn't let it happen. All he needed was a little roam from Humanoid, a little roam, and he is taking over right now.
Started with a small
Back to
lump
tower.
of 400 gold, and now he's tying tower.
Are you
and he
kidding
dies.
me?
Jack, shut up, bro. You're cursing players. We talked about this. You're not allowed to praise anyone. No, I'm kidding. You're fine.
I mean, even then, with the kill going over, because it didn't go towards Canna, it's still a solid gold lead for Nako. So, and the wave was already pushed in, so he won't really lose out. on
We don't,
the
Thank
we
you,
don't
thank you,
need to
thank you,
cope that
Dagda,
hard.
thank
We don't
you.
need to cope that hard. That was a little greedy. He was feeling himself, given all the praise that we've laid upon him, but he's still a mortal man, and he will still die if he goes in the tower.
That's true.
For now.
He had to test, you know.
Sometimes,
wasn't
you,
sure after
sometimes you have
yesterday.
to be sure. It is the
Yeah.
privilege of video games. You can limit test that way. That said, I don't think the lane phase is going to get too much easier for Canna as the Eclipse now finished for Nako. But Yike, with the Sundered Sky, can do a lot of work in the coming fights.
Vitality starting up the Drake here. Want to see if they can get the Infernal, but KC, I think they'll want to contest. The Yike has the ultimate.
Solid Snake, trying to find a way into this one. Looking for a bit of a steal.
Carzzy only
gonna
now
be
able to
that.
group up with the team. So Vitality, a little uncomfortable here.
The Drake is reset, and Yike is in a bit of an awkward position. Humanoid ghosting around.
There.
Looks for the
Humanoid
root.
just walking
Humanoid.
really fast past the minefield. Yahoo able to stop him is Yike, still hiding in the brush, still with perfect information.
Can't be
Still
stealthing
doesn't
like this once
doesn't
again.
want to 1v1 this Mundo, I don't think. Maybe he does.
He does.
Crushing blows,
Busio's
very
on lane.
good.
Pretty equal trade there for both junglers, as both decide to back off. And no, wait, we're not backing off. This is an Eternal Drake setup here.
So like this.
Okay, so Canna now TP top, which is why I think Lyncas feels a little bit more confident to go for this. But yeah, I'm pushing mid. They're happy to take it.
Yeah, Caliste is basing. Yike goes for the top camps. Has one Drake going over for Vitality, and it's going to be the Mountain Soul. A lot of value for both teams this game.
This has to be the closest early game we've seen all day, at the very least.
But the only real reason it is close is because of the steals. Realistically, I think, you know, Vitality have been doing a very good job of setting up on the objectives, trying to play off of wave states, and if we didn't have Secret Agent Yike, you'd be 2 Dragons, 3 Voidgrubs, and be like, Vitality off to the races. And it's kind of what we got to see before as well in that G2 game too, where Yike kept KC within touching distance with some insane steals.
It's also Yike with pretty much the only gold lead for KC. Tiny one on Busio, but it's like 80 gold. So Yike is the one member that's actually ahead of his opposition and can look to make the difference going into the next fight. He really wants to try to leverage that control and pressure to some of these laners, because both mid and top are continuing to get pushed in and take losing trades. It's Nako here. Doesn't dash forward.
Canna, though, just heals up so much of that damage, but top lane's starting to balance out, feeling a little bit more even around one item as the redemption from Fleshy comes top lane.
Fleshy said it's unfair. This Rek'Sai sustain, have a redemption.
We'll see. It's not going to cost him because there's no objectives for quite some time, so he's probably fine. Just give that one up.
That's like the type of stuff you do in a solo queue game to get the honor, you know?
Yeah.
Sure, or an assist, yeah. He just wants to be barred so bad. Humanoid flash forward, easy setup, briefcase connects, now there's really nowhere for Taliyah to go. She's got to run for her life. They're trying to CC the Mundo. They're using everything they have to keep kyeahoo standing. And it looks like it's enough as Yike finally arrives. Ball breaker forward, but the snare from Fleshy stops from going any further.
Yike with the counter gank, able to turn that around. It looks so dicey. And then Nako wants Canna.
Making the most of the TP shield just to kick the fight off.
Tunnels provide too much safety there. But it was a good initial play from Humanoid, it looked like. They have the numbers advantage, but kyeahoo, with the Ghost, bought so much time, it allowed Busio to peel for him, and it ends up being just Humanoid falling for Vitality.
Starting to even things out in the mid lane. Just a moment ago, we were like, Yike has the only gold lead, but now it's Caliste, as well as kyeahoo, who are pulling ahead. Caliste must have grabbed some plates in the meantime.
Yeah, even though Carzzy has the CS lead, maybe Carzzy or Caliste also had the call. As you see Humanoid flashing forward here. And the briefcase from Lyncas, it lands, but with the Ghost, kyeahoo is just too damn fast, and it's a great ult by Busio. Hits onto both Fleshy and Humanoid, and he follows up with the root. And they get the flat from Fleshy on top. And Yike is really making his presence known in this game.
That he is. Carzzy, though, trying to get aggressive onto Caliste. So close to finishing off the kill. Busio laying down the clone and using his own body just to block the Mystic shots here.
And that should be Rift Herald now for Vitality. Carzzy and Fleshy making some plays on mid. Humanoid has no flash. kyeahoo has the ult to come over the wall, so we'll just back away.
Yike is just pressuring alone here, even though Caliste is 100 HP under tower. He's still trying to find something and force them away. But as you said, Dagda, it's the Rift Herald going over to Vitality. And the next objective is that Mountain Dragon, 1 minute 40.
Bit of time to get those flashes back, at least for Busio and Fleshy. Well, not enough time, however, in 1 minute 40. Need to see what it looks like when the top laners get involved. For now, they've been pretty isolated to their 1v1.
I think the early game, even though the gold lead isn't big, I really favor Nako scaling in this game. And I think he can really show his impact in team fights. And that's what you're aiming for when you pick this Ambessa.
I don't even think he needs to scale. He's been doing a great job against Canna, honestly, in this 1v1. He's got the level advantage, he's got the CS, well, had the CS lead for quite a while. And I think that's why, if you're Vitality, you're honestly pretty happy with the way this game has been going. You hold control, your solo laners are in decent spots as you start to move on, and Carzzy and Fleshy are doing good work into the 2v2 in mid. As long as you can keep playing through those lanes, I think you're in a great spot.
Nako getting some good trades here, and I agree with you, Dagda. I think this is a great start for Vitality and a great start for Nako. Being ahead in gold here, cashed in that call now. And he is really gonna...
behind him.
Could see a realm warp. If Canna tunnels forward, he has no other tunnels currently set up in the lane. I think the alarm bells are ringing. He knows this is not the time to go in.
There was a wave that crashed on bot, and they were, I think KC were like, hang on a second. Someone should be collecting this wave. Nobody is picking it up. There has to be some sort of play happening elsewhere. So Canna, with the help of KC, kind of backing away to that. And it does mean Vitality lose a little for the play. But honestly, I like the idea. Try and make this quick play before Dragon spawns. Now KC on the objective first, though.
Yeah, I think it shows some foresight and understanding of this Ryze pick that Humanoid, a veteran, goes for these types of plays where he's willing to just drop a wave to try to make something happen. While Canna respects it, it still means that Vitality can use this to get pressure on the Drake.
But there's an awkward situation here. Humanoid's reliant on the Realm Warp and the Ghost to get him to the objective fast enough. Canna has access to this VP. Nako doesn't. Might have been part of the reason why we see the lane assignments work out the way that they do. He's hoping he can make it down. It means losing 1 or 2 creeps
the wall
here.
from kyeahoo, swinging a miss onto Nako, had Yike on the side as well. Vitality back away just off the threat though. The Dragon not started, but big ultimate down now for KC.
See how important it ends up being, both mid laners with utility ultimates.
KC are starting the Drake here. They see Humanoid on top and they want to pull the trigger. Canna already keeping in.
Yike taking his time, trying to find a target to ulti too. Canna off on the side. Nako may try to ult him, but a bit more damage comes through. Forces the flash out early.
Caliste is so low. Vitality hold all the cards now.
Yike might just want to go for the 50-50, but needs to be careful. Flash away. No time for the Vault Breaker. A little bit of damage coming for KC. Redemption to heal Vitality right back up. Mountain Drake secured by KC. Now they need to get out. But they get what they want.
But the Rift Herald is in mid. So still a lot of pressure here from Vitality. They should be able to fall back and take that mid lane turret. TP to top from Nako can be matched here by, or actually can't be matched with the Rek'Sai anymore. So maybe actually 2 turrets off that play for Vitality.
Gonna be a lot of gold in Vitality's pockets, but crucially, KC got the Drake through Yike's smites. He's been so damn good with the smites these days, even outsmiting the Dr. Mundo. As now Canna is not in trouble.
I think Humanoid continues looking forward.
Canna really likes short trades and really likes walking into the brush. Nothing like watching the animation cancel as someone drops out of your vision. Canna playing the Rek'Sai, an annoyance. It's safe to say.
Nako might be in a little bit of trouble here though. Might have to back away because you've got Caliste on this top side. I thought Yike might try and come up, but with no members now showing, he feels a little bit more comfortable to step up.
That was Neeko Dagda. That was
Neeko, yeah. But
it's still pressure, yeah. Just funny how even we can get fooled by the Neeko clone.
It does. It is annoying that the icon on the map is the champion, because it looks like there's 2 Vi's on my map right now. And now there's 2.
Isn't it funny that nobody says, you know how people were always like 2 Shens, but nobody says that about Neeko. Nobody's like 2 Yunaras.
Yeah, it's kind of like when, you know, Paparito gets involved, they kind of ruin the joke, you know? It's like when your dad thinks the meme is funny, is it still funny?
Yeah.
Like as adults probably, but when you're a teenager.
Yeah.
Anyway, level 12, 4th list, trying to push in, trying to break this mid lane tower. It's not going super hot. Gold's still super close. We'll see if I can find another adjective other than the word super, as Mega getting it later and later into this game. The late game scaling said favors Nako. Really haven't gotten to see Caliste do too much. Now he's at 2 items, as is Carzzy, but the 2-item power spike from Ezreal is pretty legendary.
I think it's just insane how close this game is though. Like there's been so much back and forth, like both teams jostling and vying for any sort of pressure that they can get. But in all said and done, like both teams are within touching distance, and this could easily break either direction. Like KC now at least get the push on mid, will also get top lane turret off of the reset timer from Vitality. And Nako's trying to hide.
Yeah, he might be in trouble here. Although he doesn't get spotted, but maybe kyeahoo is in trouble if he buys enough time here.
Get the
As the rest of KC.
That's the ulti, Unstoppables, the Realm Warp starts to come in. Yahoo's just dead. Thought he was safe, had 2 members, 2 teammates waiting in the brush to support him.
Canna's bot lane and has no TP. If he actually shows in the wave, do Vitality feel comfortable to just take Baron?
I would love for Vitality to start Nash here. It was such a good sneak play by Nako, but it doesn't look like they want to go for it. They just put Nako bot. They don't want to explode the game just yet. They want to play it slow, play for the towers, take the small leads. But I love this sort of cheesiness that Nako looks for. And he finds the kill, results in a tower as well.
Definitely a good look. Now he can move down to the bottom lane to match. Canna, top lane tower, picked up, small gold lead. Neither side able to build any kind of significant advantage, because again, 1,000 this late into the game, it's not a big deal. So instead, I think we have to look at item completions, but across the board, it's really just 2 items apiece for both teams.
And I think if you're Vitality, you would look to try and take that fight. You just kind of talked about the Ezreal spike, you got that Ryze spike off the 2 items, especially as he's about to hit the 10 stack on his Rod of Ages. However, for KC, they're kind of just getting to farm up. They have the Dragon lead, so they can wait for 3 items on Yunara. They don't technically have to take the fight, look for trades, but...
Caliste going in for the 1v1. Humanoid suddenly thinking better. I don't know if he wins out on this one. Seraph's shield is there. Caliste still continuing to walk forward. Yike waiting off to the side. Wants to lock up. Humanoid immediately goes for the ulti. Caliste just dives in. picks up the kill, breaks a tower of his own, and we're just going blow for blow, band for band here in this game.
And Caliste is playing fearless here as he takes the 1v1. And Vitality were not willing to start the Nash when they killed the mid laner, but KCR, Yike the Smite King, let's see how they play it.
Lyncas, how does he want to get into this one? If we could see his vision, show the pressure on him to try to find his way in as Busio finds the flank off to the side. Carzzy caught out immediately, going to get flicked back, but now it's Nako arriving in the meantime. Carzzy still living for a moment, but it's Canna to seal the deal. Uses the ulti, Lyncas on the run, as is Nako. Ball breaker there, Lyncas locked up. They're not able to break the passive. Now starting to run, he's just too fast.
Busio learning the guerrilla tactics from Nako, hiding on the bush, waiting for Carzzy to step up that bit too far. They don't get the Baron, but it'll be another kill now for KC, but 15 seconds until Dragon. They need to get back out, and now they're down 3 of those ultimates.
Carzzy still dead for 15 seconds. It should be a free Drake for KC here. Unless Vitality are able to find some miracle play. Lyncas just clearing the crab. Oh, Nako.
Level 16 there for Nako. Immediate flash to knock up. Forcing a flash back out from Nako. Lyncas starting to step up. Busio here, but no ulti. Crucially, Cliff does have access to his ulti.
But there's no Ezreal. Carzzy on his way. KC should be able to just burst this out. Humanoid's in that bottom side.
Right, can he get it? Lyncas wants baiting if he wants to poke his head and isn't going to take the risk as Clone continues to be a nuisance. Lyncas now ready to chase. Canna presumably has a tunnel soon as he tries to sidestep as the Yike goes right back in, looking to lock up Carzzy, but the rest of the team just isn't there. A play they did not need to make.
And Yike needed to ulti Nako, but he went for Carzzy instead. Ended up knocking Nako out of the Taliyah W and went too deep. Now the question is if Vitality can look to start the Nash. They're realm warping in. Nako is low, but Yike is dead. There's no jungler on the side of KC and there's no smite, but KC can still look for the fight.
Yike did so much in this game, but horrors of his old vibe plays coming back to mind as KC now stepping up. Yeah, who goes in to separate?
The wall to separate with 4K, the objective's getting lower. It would take a miracle for them to steal this one. Lyncas unmovable, 1800, does manage to take away the Baron, and immediately Vitality re-engage, and now it's a disaster for KC. Nako living far too long as Canna tries to finish the kill. Double knockup comes through again, but he can't tunnel over the wall as Carzzy drops him. It's Baron to Vitality.
This game is so back and forth. It's blow for blow every moment, but it's Vitality who managed to get the Baron for the Dragon.
And this Nash fight, kyeahoo puts up the wall. They try to scatter them, but it's the lack of smite that really hurts them as Vitality can play it slow. They secure the Nash with the help of Lyncas, and Nako goes in. I thought he would die, but he ends up buying so much time dashing out. He still goes down to Canna, but with that, he pulls Canna alongside him to the grave.
Yahoo performing the Cardinal Sin of League of Legends, flashing in a straight line and still gets hit by Nako on that one. Vitality gonna feel overjoyed now. Losing Dragon still hurts, but finally a 3k gold lead for them on this. And with so much of that being situated on towards Carzzy, third item now completed. This Ezreal in a position to try and be a major carry in these fights.
Cliff needs more time to hit that Infinity Edge. Desperately needs it, maybe some armor pen as well to get through Lyncas' health bar. A bit of healing reduction for Busio certainly does go a long way in these fights, but Vitality with the Baron firmly in control. Back and forth right up until Yike stepped a little bit too far forward. KC had the angle to just play for soul. Thought maybe they could convert into a greater fight, get a Baron of their own, but now they're so far behind. 3k deficit. Now going to see how much more Vitality can get done with the Baron power play.
Vitality really needs to get a lot of things done with this Baron power play, because otherwise you're still entering a soul fight for KC in 2 minutes. And if KC are only down 3k gold, that's still a fight that's really, I would say, even in their favor. So Vitality are a bit on the clock here. They want to try to make the best use of this Nash that they can. 1 minute left. They're going to get the tier 2 bot. What more can they get?
They don't have waves set up anywhere else in the map. They're playing on a single lane, which makes it so much easier for KC to just defend. Canna did a good job of pushing out the mid wave. No one's managing top wave. So Vitality, I think, lacking the Baron on Nako, maybe not comfortable to play on multiple waves as their split pusher doesn't have the buff.
I think it's also just that, Canna waves are not going to be hit, but I think Vitality are scared of the engage from KC. Like, the go button from Yike, a flash in from Busio, they can very quickly find these fights. If you drop mid lane turret and shut down the play, suddenly KC get the tempo lead that they need to set up for that Dragon. So Vitality not willing to give it. Nako, I think his spidey senses were tingling a little bit there.
Good thing he didn't greed for the control ward. Still, It's only going to be a 2.5k gold lead from this Baron power play.
And most of that's the kills they got immediately following the Baron. It's not like they got a ton of objectives here. So Vitality, while they've built a decent gold lead, they've completed or at least started onto those 4th item spikes. Caliste on 3 items. He had enough time to farm that up. So I think you're right about what you said earlier, Jack. This soul fight is still going to be very, very close.
It's going to be the one that counts. It's still going to be Vitality that have control as they're able to push in this mid wave with Carzzy. And they really want to poke them down before a fight starts, utilize this Karma Ezreal to its full potential. And then Nako and Lyncas can swoop in and finish the deal.
Humanoid looking to split, get another pressure point. Maybe disrupt KC a bit here.
You see Yike hovering off of the top of mid-wave. They were hoping Vitality might group on mid-wave. Maybe you could look for a play, but still potentially look for a play on Carzzy if he overextends.
Humanoid isolated on the side. Canna finds the initial knockup. Wall laid down by Kyeahoo. Humanoid now ghosting away. Redemption coming in to keep him relatively healthy. He's just fast enough to escape for now. Trying to get back into the realm where fancy forward, but the knockup is there in time for Canna. Humanoid down, shut down for Kyeahoo.
Massive pick for KC. Nako was still pushing in top. I mean, now 15 seconds until potentially Mountain Soul. Vitality have to take a fight with a numbers disadvantage.
And that's the impact that Canna has in these games. Now it's a 4v5. Vitality are trying to enter through both. Nako has the flank.
Canna can spot him out with the Tremor Sense, even though they don't have the vision, though. Knows exactly where he's playing from. The nice added bonus is Busio fishes for a flank. Sends the clone forward first since they don't have vision in the brush. 4K getting lower, the 50-50, a smite fight, but they don't want to take it. They're going to knock up Lyncas and take him down instead immediately as health bar just disappears. Carzzy taking down Busio, but at the cost of the soul.
They tried to make a play on towards Busio. He was putting so much pressure down by threatening that potential flank that Carzzy had to go and deal with them. So KC turn on towards Lyncas, finish off the jungler, and take the soul.
And this game is just so close. The biggest plays in the game we've seen have been single individual errors. Yike going a bit too far, costing them the Baron. Humanoid going a bit too far, costing Vitality the soul. Everything else has been nearly flawless.
I mean, it's just been Yike with the smites that have made the difference in this game. You see Lyncas goes in, but the call is split. This Mundo cannot go where he pleases. As Carzzy is taking down Busio, there's no backline for Lyncas to play around, and he's taken down so fast. And this is the steals we saw early game. Yike set this up by getting those Drakes early and securing each and every single one.
And it's the time bot that is going to do KC wonders. Caliste nearly at his 4th item. You're seeing kyeahoo starting to pick up his ones. A GA now bought for Yike means that he can go hyper aggressive on the plays and set up for KC as long as KC are there to help him out on the back.
Also, Mountain Soul, the extra armor and magic resist. Even though we don't have a true tank on the lineup, you're looking at Nako and Carzzy, who both would love to be throwing out so much damage, mitigated by the bit of armor we're seeing from Yike already. It's just going to be hard to find that backline access and assassinate those priority targets for Nako in these big fights.
Also, I just want to highlight the way that who's playing this. You can see him, he's just sitting here, but always like threatening a potential on either side to make plays. Has cancelled the reset once more, but it means that Humanoid, like, he can't really do anything because he doesn't know where Kyeahoo is.
And that's the kind of support we talked about when it comes to these split pushing compositions. Something we noted that Vitality lack a bit with the Mundo, right? Don't have that semi-global to support someone on side lane without using the power of Humanoid, and currently he's the one on side, so now they find the lockup onto Nako. Redemption healing coming in. Nako living for far too long. Solid fight is there though. Nako goes back in, looking to pop Yike. Yike barely living. Yike holding on. Sundering a bit of sky to keep the dreams alive as KC now retreats. Humanoid stepping forward, but Caliste free to start unleashing damage. Dash over the wall. Canna coming from behind. The Rek'Sai will not find the angle. It's a bloody little brawl, and Carzzy wants to make the difference. GA pop. Busio can't go in, but he's gonna try anyway. Lock up there. Q through. Flashback from Yike. Humanoid off on the side, trying to burn through Canna's health bars. A close spot battle. Flash forward. Knockup from Canna. Kyeahoo not there with the follow-up damage. The Sarah's proc just in time to keep Humanoid standing. Vitality turning it. Carzzy popping off. Carzzy health bar to hold on to hope in this game.
And Carzzy came to play, ladies and gentlemen. He sees that Yike wastes the Q and pounces on the opportunity. He takes his GA, and even though Busio gets the engage, it's 2 kills for Vitality, and Carzzy might have just saved them the game.
KC trying to play it slow until Canna can get there, because they look for Nako here, but the follow-up isn't quite there. As Kyeahoo uses the wall, but Nako able to flash away. Immediate dive onto Yike. But Yike just doesn't end up falling, but it's the overextension afterwards, because the Realm Warp from Humanoid gets there faster. Again, you've got this numbers play. Caliste not in a position to actually get any sort of damage down, because he goes towards mid. Vitality back in the Baron. Can they make this pick happen?
We're fighting again. It's the Baron Nashor. It's Yike's playground. He has the smite.
Has the smite, but no
He
flash.
can't get in.
Can Q forward, take the blast cone, gives it away, but he cannot steal it. Not today. Lyncas secures this one.
Bro, if he stole that, like, I would be
No, it's just
mind blown.
done. It's, yeah.
Oh. Okay, a Baron Nashor for Vitality, and they firmly get that gold lead back in their hands. And now they need to break inhibitors with this Baron Nashor. Open up this KC base to make sure that you have control of the Elder Dragon.
Starting the push on much better footing than they did last time around. Mid wave already pushing forward, bot wave in their favor. Yahoo sent to answer it to stop Vitality from being able to play on 3 lanes, but Caliste alone is not enough to hold here in mid lane.
You're just man down. KC knows they have to back away from these outer turrets. They're just sending Yahoo to push aside and hope that at least they can play off of the 2 lanes and try and nullify the pressure. But 10 seconds until Yike, and it's going to be 10 seconds too late as Vitality will take the inhibitor structure.
So frustrating too when Vitality have this advantage. Fleshy able to stand back. The Mantra E, the Defiance, just to speed Vitality up and in. And
Yahoo's pushing bot. That's a silver lining for KC, but if Vitality can get this top inhib, then it would be absolutely huge for them. So much pressure for this Elder Dragon.
Nako continuing pressure in mid wave, just making sure there's something that has to be answered elsewhere. Double cannons, now going to be triple cannons. The tower certainly going to fall here. Still 1 minute and 30 seconds left on this Baron. KC, if they misstep while this buff is active, the game will end in the favor of Vitality. Caliste chunked, sent back to the fountain.
And that's going to be it. That chunk is enough for the inhibitor to fall. And KC struggling in game number 1 against Vitality. It's any close, but Lyncas doesn't get back. Canna manages to interrupt. Nako caught as well.
Nako clicks back. Yike immediately going to go in. Nako needs to find a way over the wall. That's going to be the cease and desist coming through. Nako can't find escape with an ulti of his own. He's going to get picked away. 30 seconds before the Elder. Vitality need to hold 4v5.
And disaster has struck the Vitality camp at the last possible moment. The Vitality members are desperate. They want to look for a pick before Elder.
KC made a choice though. They went for Nako and they did not go for Lyncas. The jungler for Vitality is still here, and Vitality are looking for plays.
Humanoid on the flank. Yahoo about to get immediately deleted, but the knockup from Busio is there. Down goes Carzzy. Humanoid, the last major source of damage left. He's getting deleted just as quickly, but he manages to take one with him. The shield is massive. How is this Ryze alive? Marek Frosta and the rest of Vitality standing strong. 2 members dead on both sides. It's 17 seconds to knock Nako, and Vitality might just get the Elder.
What the hell was that? I thought I knew League of Legends, and Humanoid looked dead in the 1v4, but he does so much damage, and the shielding and healing from Fleshy allows Vitality to get Elder in the last moment.
Marek Frosta stepping up. Carzzy taken out. It looked like Busio had done the unthinkable and held this play from Vitality. But with the TP in, the actualizer damage, deleting Yahoo, putting manners on KC, and showing that Vitality will not be denied on the play.
I mean, Caliste is mind-blowing. He got 1 shot. I can't believe it myself. And as Caliste, you need, like, you're going to be kicking yourself after that one, because you could have used the fact that you have the longer range with the Yunara. You could have played it slower, waited for the CC, but it looked like a free kill. It was a 1 versus 4.
He's stalling on Elder. He's just waiting as long as possible to make sure the waves are in a good spot.
And the Nashor, ideally. But it's still not going to be lined up with the Nashor. But still, they can play for the bot inhib. They can look for the dive. And we saw Ryze do a lot of damage before the Elder.
Yeah, well,
now he has an Elder.
it's an actualizer, not a maybe-lizer. It's just kind of a disgusting item. I don't know how it ended up in the game, but now Nako's been caught out, flick back. He's gonna die again, running for his life. Last little bit of help coming out, but now Humanoid's gonna try to 1v5 as best he can. Yike, burning, picking, holding on, will not go into the threshold, crucially.
It's going to be the bolt inhib for Vitality, but 2 big mistakes by Nako here. Not living up to his performance from yesterday, but it might just not matter. Vitality are looking to continue the siege, 4v5. They still have the Elder.
They just need the super creeps. They can look for the poke with Carzzy. They can look to keep KC in their base. KC have the soul, but it has not been enough for them to hold on in this game. Vitality have been fantastic.
Been so diligent, a couple missteps most certainly, but overall still doing so well in these fights, finding these good angles, punishing KC when they overstep. The Mountain Soul not enough, and you're right, double super creeps. 3 inhibitors down. Nexus Tower still standing strong. Carzzy's ulti gonna connect on the Canna. Vitality now pulling back. 10 seconds on Nako. TP is there. They get the flash out of Lyncas at the very least. 1 minute left. KC need to hold the line and be ready for a fist fight at the Baron, but Vitality don't want to give them that time. It's TP in from Nako in the battle lane. One final hold for KC. Mantra Defiance coming out, massive shielding across all of Vitality. Not mitigating much damage.
This is going to be the last wave, but it's double super creeps lined up perfectly. kyeahoo trying to use the wall to buy time so they can deal with the top wave.
30 seconds. Last waves here. Next one won't be there in time. Caliste putting back with the ulti in from Nako might make the difference. Caliste getting back in the fountain just out of range of being executed. Using the fountain regeneration to burn through. But Carzzy's on the Nexus. Crucially, he's on the Nexus. He wants to end it here. Pana on the chase in. Nexus exposed at the edge of death. KC trying to hold on. Lyncas not finding the angle. Humanoid going golden. Carzzy going up as he finds kill after kill. Resurrection there. Humanoid on the edge of death. But the game will end in favor of Vitality. At the end, insult to injury.
And Vitality have done it.